Dan Bidondi for TruthRadioShow.com. In this special report, we're going to show you how federal agencies, mainly Homeland Security, are using fear-mongering, scare tactics to get funding, and if they don't get their way, they threaten you. Well, here you go. First of all, you're right here off the bat here. You got the FBI official. He said we need to, quote unquote, we need to keep fear alive to justify terror budgets because the FBI is trying to get more funding. So they will openly state, hey, we need to keep fear alive, quote unquote, to justify getting funded. And moving on, speaking of getting funded, keeping fear alive, first of all, the Department of Homeland Security comes out to say, the chairman at that, warns of a cyber Pearl Harbor. Washington Times reports this. It took an attack by a nation state on Hollywood to bring the threat of cyber attacks to the forefront of the Americans' consciousness, but when we've been fighting the war for decades. And most Americans take cyber attacks as just threats to identify in financial information, such as the recent high-profile data breaches on Target, Home Depot, J.P. Morgan Chase, as the Sony attack has proven, and the Sony attack's been proven as a fraud. It was a hoax. But, they have to, Washington Times, go figure. They're saying that the Sony attack proves it, though we have now reached a new era of cyber terrorism where threats cause just as much damage as a fear as a bomb threat. Really? And while according to economic damage of this hack is disconcerting, the real significance lies in the fact that, according to the FBI, this marks the first major destructive cyber attack waged against a company on U.S. soil. So they're using fear-mongering, just like we told you, the FBI says we need to keep fear alive, and they're seeking, funding for the terror budget, And now Homeland Security is doing the same thing because now John Bonner is coming out, the House Republican. He's coming out to say, hey, Bonner here, CNNSnews.com reports, Bonner, our goal here is to fund the Department of Homeland Security. And House Republicans say they are eager to pass a bill to fully fund the Department of Homeland Security as long as no funding goes to President Obama's vastly expanded immigration program. Now, it sounds good, right? Yeah, because it's going against immigration, because none of us want illegal immigration. You know what I mean? And because it's costing taxpayers millions, which sounds good. But read through the lines here. Here's the deception. Because right now, you got a lot of patriots out there, probably a lot of Republicans say, oh, John Bonner, good job, man. Yeah, we're not going to fund President Obama. But, hello, he wants to defund the Department of Homeland Security. So what's wrong with that? But he's going against Obama. Who do you think brings the immigrants into this country? On buses, Homeland Security. Who do you think puts them up on our taxpayers' dime? Homeland Security. So he's painting it out, look, we're against Obama just to get everybody's approval and vote. But we're funding the same damn agency that is being used to bring in the illegal immigrants. Wow. I mean, if you don't see that, okay, Republican, Democrat, whoever you are, if you do not see that, you're blind. So John Bonner says we need to fund Homeland Security. Oh, yeah, but we're against Obama's amnesty program and all that. Yeah, right. Immigration program, sorry. Yeah, right. So they want to fund the very agency that's used to bring the problem in. Not saying the people themselves are a problem. It's just the immigration, because of the taxes and everything else. So that's, it's an oxymoron thing. It really is. And again, you got Homeland Security warning of cyber, Pearl Harbor, to promote the fear so they get the funding. And at the same time, Bonner's saying, hey, look, we want to, stop Obama's amnesty crap, but we're funding the same agency that brings them in. Go figure. It's like us, we got the world fighting against ISIS, but the United States keeps funding and sending money and guns and weapons to ISIS and building them up while the rest of the world's fighting them off. Don't make sense at all. It really don't. And here's Homeland Security here. They're threatening now. That's right. The Daily Call is stating Homeland Security threatens consequences if funding bill isn't passed. And Kerry Pickett reports in the Daily Caller, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jed Johnson released a statement Tuesday night saying that any political change amendments in the DHS funding bill that attempt to defund our executive actions on immigration reform would result in consequences. A blatant threat. because not only they're promoting the fear mongering, but saying, hey, if we don't get it funded, there's going to be severe consequences. Just like when they try to stop TSA, kick them out of Texas, Governor Rick Perry at the time, the Homeland Security threatened a no-fly zone, which TSA is part of Homeland Security, threatened a no-fly zone over the state of Texas, an act of war. And, of course, Perry bows to it, and you see what happens from there. But anyway, this is insane, folks. The Homeland Security needs to be abolished. And plain out needs to be abolished. But Johnson here warns that if the DHS were to be funded by a short-term funding bill known as a quote-unquote continuing resolution, the department would not be able to fund quote-unquote new non-disaster grants to state, local, and tribal governments, law enforcement, emergency response officials, and fire departments. Secretary Johnson said that some state, local, and tribal government activities, including counterterrorism equipment and gear in major metropolitan cities, would be cut. The department runs on the short-term funding bill, and during his visit to Capitol Hill Tuesday, he told reporters, quote-unquote, we're in trying times right now, so we need a clean appropriations bill for Homeland Security. And he says, I'm here to talk to any senators on both sides of the aisle who are willing to listen to me and engage in a discussion about getting what we need for the budget for Homeland Security for this nation, he continued. But then again, he says, if we don't get this funded, would result in serious consequences. And again, Homeland Security threatens consequences if bill isn't passed. So, if that's not bad, here we go with the illegal immigration. And we just heard that Bonner wants to fund Homeland Security but stop the illegal immigration problem. But here we go. Homeland Security now sets up an Obama amnesty complaint hotline. That's right, you're hearing this right. Reported by the Washington Times now. Of course, they're reporting it, but they're highlighting it like it's a good thing. But Homeland Security sets up an Obama amnesty complaint hotline for illegals. And the Homeland Security Department has set up hotlines for illegal immigrants who believe their rights under President Obama's amnesty policy have been violated. Notice how it says policy, because it's illegal. It's not the law. It's illegal because it's against the Constitution. And in the memo announcing to the Customs Complaint Line, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, asked illegal immigrants to, quote unquote, please tell us about your experience if they believe they were treated contrary to the new DHS enforcement priorities. And the department alerted, and Bonner wants to fund this. Bonner wants total funding for Homeland Security. But, again, disguised, no, we want nothing to do with Obama's amnesty program. But they're funding the same agency that's pushing this right here. You're reading, you're listening to it. And the department alerted stakeholders last week of 3 complaint hotlines, one for CBP, which oversees the Border Patrol, one for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which handles immigration laws in the nation's interior, and one for U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is poised to handle the millions of amnesty applicants expected to be filed. And the amnesty policy grants tentative legal status to up to 4 million illegal immigrants and orders Border Patrol agents and Immigration Customs Enforcement agents not to arrest other illegal immigrants who say they have been hiding in the United States for years but don't meet the criteria for full amnesty. So, folks, there you go. Wide open is the gate to the North American Union. Wide open is the gate to total tyranny, folks. And I'm not saying these people are bad, but the thing is, who's going to pay for all this? They're already being put up in these illegal immigrants, top luxury apartments. They're building shelters for these people. Our dime pays for their medical. So where's this all going to come from? Oh, that's right. Bonner wants to fund Homeland Security in your tax dollars. So you Republicans out there, you should think twice before allowing Bonner to get Homeland Security its funding. You Republicans out there and Democrats, you should be working to abolish Homeland Security. And another article here, Homeland Security chief opens largest immigration detention center in the United States. And you Republicans out there, that's what Bonner wants to fund right there. It's supposed to be nothing to do with amnesty, but Homeland Security opens up the largest detention center for immigrants in the country. New York Times reports this. Jen Johnson, the Secretary of Homeland Security, came to the South Texas outpost on Monday to inaugurate a 50-acre detention center that will hold as many as 2,400 migrants here caught crossing the southwest border illegally, becoming the largest immigration detention facility in the country. And though President Obama has offered to work permits, he called for 4 million work permits and protection from deportation to millions of unauthorized immigrants. He also ordered new policies to reinforce border security, which is stupid. You got to enforce border security, but yeah, bringing them in, giving them work permits, doesn't make sense. Anyway, hoping to prevent new surge of illegal crossings, Mr. Johnson preside over the opening of the center in Diley, 85 miles northeast of Laredo, to draw more attention to the border security pieces of the president's executive actions in response to the furor of those actions caused. And the center is specially designed to house migrant women and their children, from babies to teenagers, as their deportation cases move through the courts. And in other words, this is how that deportation court cases work like this. Welcome to America. Here you go. You're a citizen now. Yeah, it's because here's your work permit. It's ridiculous. And they're often, now they want to give California illegals driver's license. That's saying, hey, you're a resident now. It's unbelievable. And we got to move on here. And if you think that's bad, we got See Something, Say Something campaign being sparked up all over again. And here we go. Department of Homeland Security, Infowars.com reports this. It shows all the tweets from Homeland Security's Twitter page and the website as well. So you can go check that out for yourself. Department of Homeland Security relaunches See Something, Say Something campaign. According to a new Department of Homeland Security's Twitter feed, the agency has relaunched its campaign to involve citizens in tracking down and reporting terrorists. And may I remind you who they classify as terrorists? Not Al-Qaeda. Okay, and I'm talking to you people who work for Homeland Security. The regular folk who actually want to be part of a law enforcement agency to bring justice and stuff and to serve justice. I'm not talking about you guys, because I know there's plenty of good people that do work for Homeland Security. I'm talking about your bosses. You better reevaluate what you're actually working for. And I'm trying to reach out to you people in Homeland Security. Reevaluate who your bosses are. Reevaluate what your department is about. It's criminal. It's pure criminal anti-constitution. So why don't you do this for yourself? Don't listen to me, okay? And you naysayers out there do the same thing. I want you to go to the Department of Homeland Security's website for yourself, or the National Archives, whatever you feel like doing. I want you to research this. And this is who they classify as terrorists. I'll remind you. This is just one of many documents. It's called Endgame, the Office of Detention and Removal Strategic Plan. I want you to read this little document here. It's, like 40, 50 pages, whatever. But read through this document. Okay, it's just one of many Homeland Security documents. And hell, while you're at it, why don't you read this too, how they spy on American people. Office of Operations Coordinating and Planning, and Publicity Available Social Media Monitoring and Situational Awareness Initiative. Spying on the American people through social media. But, let me clarify who Homeland Security labels as terrorists. Returning veterans, according to my report as well, returning veterans, conservatives, they call them far right-wing conservatives, people who believe in Bible prophecy, people who preach against the New World Order, against the North American Union. But in these documents, they call them conspiracy theories, even though they're part of pushing these conspiracies, because the conspiracies are real. There's charges in government that if you caught conspiring with the enemy, it's conspiracy charges. So there's no such thing as a conspiracy, a fake one. Theory could go either way, but this is fact. Whatever you want to call it, but look in your own documents, folks, okay? Your own documents, especially Homeland Security folks, okay? Look, okay? Because they're classifying returning veterans, gun owners, Ron Paul supporters, patriot groups such as Tea Parties, Oath Keepers and such. All these things, okay? People who believe in the Constitution as terrorists, returning veterans, the number one terror threat, according to Homeland Security, you can research this for Homeland Security yourself, is the returning veterans. Why? Because most veterans, not all, because some of them are still brainwashed by the garbage they heard, haven't been trained with, but most of them learn when they go overseas, there is no war on terror. None at all. Sure, there's real people getting killed and such, but they learn The war is all orchestrated and created by the CIA. The CIA funds ISIS. The CIA funds Al Qaeda. They openly brag, they created them. John McCain openly brags that, hey, he funded ISIS and gave him the weapons. Where do you think ISIS gets all these brand new Toyota Special Forces trucks from? Not from a dealership in somewhere in the Middle East. They don't even sell those kind of trucks in the Middle East. Where do you think they get these high military-style weapons from? Not from the corner store or gun shop. They get them from our U.S. government on record. John McCain admitted it. What do you think Hillary Clinton resigned for? Because she got caught red-handed through the whole Benghazi attack. She should be in jail, her and John McCain, for treason and death to the ambassador. I forgot his name, whatever. But they were responsible for Benghazi, especially Hillary Clinton. But there's returning veterans realize, and when they're overseas, they realize, hey, wait a minute, this war is all a hoax. There ain't no war on terror. It's our CIA who's creating this war so we could invade the Middle East. Because us fighting wars in the Middle East has nothing to do with our national security. Zero threat to our national sovereignty. Zero threat to our Constitution. Zero threat to our liberties. None of it is constitutional. I don't care what you have to justify, whatever. You can shove it, okay? It's zero constitutionality. And according to the Constitution, we shouldn't be over there. And if our founding fathers came alive today, I'm telling you, Homeland Security scum this, you know, the ones at the top, not the good people that work at the bottom levels, but you scum at the top, okay? Our founding fathers came alive today. Everyone, they would march right down to your headquarters there and physically arrest your asses for treason. And you'd be lucky that you wouldn't be at the end of a rope by the end of the week. That's what the founding fathers would do. Okay, but we need to circumvent that. We live in different times now, but technically you guys should be arrested. And, you know, people in Homeland Security, you need to get out of there because you're working for criminal, anti-constitutional organization, agency, whatever you want to call it. So we need to abolish, okay, good Republicans, good Democrats, and we need to stop complete funding of these tyrannical agencies as the FBI, Homeland Security, NSA, all these government organizations. We need to stop funding because they're nothing but terrorists. Okay, they're the real terrorists. The CIA is the real terrorists on this planet, and Homeland Security is just their enforcers. Okay, we need to abolish Homeland Security. You good agents in there need to get out of that, plain and simple. But we're about out of time, and I challenge people again: don't take one word I said. I want you, especially people in Homeland Security, go into your own files and look what you're about. It's nothing to do with national sovereignty, national security, liberties and such. Because the thing is, now you know this, okay? The Constitution says it's your duty, which overrides any oath you took on or anything you've been told and ordered to do. The Constitution overrides that, okay? It's your duty to blow the whistle, like Edward Snowden did. If you know something sinister in your department, first of all, get the hell out of there. Second of all, blow that damn whistle. That's your constitutional duty, plain and simple. And I wish to God, if I had the money, okay, I would hire an army, bring Edward Snowden home, and hire an army to protect him. At all times, have armed guards around him, and anyone, any agency at all that comes to arrest him would be shot on sight, plain and simple. That if I had the money to do that, because that guy's a hero, and he's abiding by the Constitution. And these scum who he exposed in the NSA should be closed down for this. They should be all arrested at the top, all of them. And that will conclude this special report. And remember, visit truthradioshow.com. Subscribe to all our social media sites, especially our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. It's Truth Radio Show. And this is Dan Bidondi for truthradioshow.com. And remember, you are the resistance.